At what time of day was Adam created? A little before Eve.
But
Welcome to another Faith Fridays with Fayad. Thank you for coming again. Second week of Lent. Last week I explained the relationship with Christ. And this week I'm going to explain how deep that goes and why. So, as humans, we were made to love. And as Christians, we're called to make our first love Jesus. And even if you're married, this is before your marriage. This is before anyone else in your life. Like, this is the core thing that you were called to love is God. And that's what's going to bring the most happiness and the most purpose. So that's what's going to give you the most happiness and the most purpose. This intimacy with Jesus is what drives lives. It's because this relationship with Christ is more than just asking for this or that or just saying, talking every once in a while. It's a literal relationship. It calls for intimacy. And most people, when they say intimacy, you think of physical intimacy, but emotional intimacy is also characteristic, right? In any marriage, you need physical intimacy and emotional intimacy. And if you're lacking one, things aren't the greatest, So, likewise, with our relationship with Christ, this thing that is the core of our lives before sports or before a successful career or before husbands or before wives, is this intimacy. And so God's given us an amazing model, marriage, to see how we should be with Him. So a husband and a wife, right? They need to talk. Or the marriage doesn't survive. So if a husband has a problem or he's doing great at work or whatever, the natural pull or what he should do is to go tell his wife. And he needs to tell his wife and she responds and then he can do something with that, right? If a husband doesn't tell his wife what's going on, a lot of bad things could happen, There could be resentment that builds between the two based off of assumptions. There could be anger, frustration. You need to be direct, right? And I think most married couples would agree that you should talk very often. If you only talk when you feel like it, then the relationship might fall apart. Or if after the honeymoon phase, now you're living with somebody, right? And you have to get to know them and deal with all their perks and all this, You need communication. You need to talk. You need to let each other know what's in each other's lives so that you can build that best friendship. And so a relationship with Jesus is even more powerful than that and even more meaningful. With Jesus, we need to do the same thing. We need to tell Him what's on our hearts, or we're pulling ourselves away from Him. Like the husband needs to think about what's happening and then tell his wife. That's acknowledge, relate. And then she hears, she tells him something. He is receiving, and then he goes and does something with that. Respond. And so the reason why I explained that is because one time someone came up to me and said, "Isn't that too formulaic?" And no, it's not formulaic. It's literally it's natural. It's the natural order. It's how relationships are organized. And that's just how it is with Jesus. And it needs to be something you do regularly. You need to be in communication, a lot. And so a lot of people say, why, if God knows everything, why does He want to hear it from me? The reason He wants to hear it is because that's how the relationship works. Is even if you know something, you want to hear it from how the other person feels, how it happened to them. And it's important to open up. I think sharing with Jesus is so important for us because, right, He already knows it, but it's so important for us to open our hearts that way. It leaves us open to receive. And, prayer is giving God our intentions so He can do something with it. And so that's what it is. In telling God, you're giving Him permission to do something with it. Now, between husband and wife, it can't just be rants, right? It can't just be anger. It has to be a good mix of what's going on in your life. The good, bad, everything in between. Emotional intimacy. Thoughts, feelings, desires. Those are the three that I said last week, and that's exactly what it is. It is really amazing to be able to try to open yourself up to Jesus, because every single day you do it, you find out a new truth about yourself. Because as you're going deep and really trying to tell him things, he reveals a little more about your heart, and through that he can begin to heal you. Now, for the other side, physical intimacy, right? I mean, emotional intimacy made sense, but now physical, like, Patrick? No, you know? But think about it this way. Okay, the words of consecration. When the priest holds the host up, he says the words that Jesus said to his church and to us. This is my body given up for you. Now, what do spouses say to each other on their marriage night? This is my body given to you. And whether they say that physically or with their bodies, that's what is going on, right? You're surrendering yourself to the other person so that to become one, you can be united and grow closer to each other. That's exactly what the Eucharist is. You receive Jesus, literally. He is sacrificing for you. Love means sacrifice, giving something up for the good of the other, loving and wanting what's best for the good of the other. The piece of the host, that's literally love. Like if love was a physical thing besides a word, it would be the host. And so you're receiving his love and him to become one, through his sacrifice to become one, and you grow closer together. You're united with the one that loves you. That is physical intimacy. So emotional and physical, those are what unite you to Jesus in a true, authentic relationship that should be the most important core of your life. Because if Jesus is not the core of your life and something else is, you're not going to find the happiness that you were made for. And you know, sometimes we're in this relationship with Jesus and we think that we're doing something wrong, or it's our fault, or something, like he doesn't like us anymore because we don't hear anything. We measure prayer off of how we feel or what we hear. But let me tell you, that's not true. The ways that you measure prayer, two ways: honesty and consistency. And you will grow. If you have honesty and consistency, you will grow with Christ. Honesty, you have to be there and be honest. You can't just put a mask on. If you put a mask on, you're not allowing Jesus to love who you are. You're telling him to love someone else. You have to really go deep and give him your heart, not just your thoughts, but your feelings and desires. What's deep? Go deep, right? Consistency. It has to be something you do every day, or you try to do every day. You grow closer that way. And so these things combined will absolutely change your life. I promise. I literally promise. I don't know. No, I just promise. You follow that relationship with Christ, you find what he's made you for, and that's where you'll be the most fulfilled. God wants good for you, and most importantly, he wants you. Thank you. So emotional and physical, not that rhymed.
But I don't know. But
Wait, you guys are terrible. I'm trying to think of what I should say. Where's the remote? Christ, no. That sounded great, but it meant nothing. Delete that. No longer physical. Okay. And not just physical. Okay, let me.
Thanks for making it to the end of the video. You may have noticed that the production quality was up just like a tad bit. That was due in part to me editing the video this time instead of Patrick. And so basically this is a shout out to myself. If you guys are interested in like travel videos or photography or anything like that, You can follow my YouTube channel and my Instagram, and that will be down in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for next week. Don't know if I'll be editing again, so see you guys later.